Hey guys, welcome to the Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic. Today we're going to talk about jet sleds. One of the most important tools that you can have as a hunter, outdoorsman, doesn't matter what. It's not just for hauling your ice fishing stuff out to your shanty. Actually, I've never used it to haul any ice fishing stuff out there before. But I've been using them for many years and they've done countless things for me. So I wanted to show you some of the advantages to them and show you how to set them up the right way. Because a standard jet sled is okay. A modified one like I've done here and I've been doing for years, these take them to a whole nother level for use for the outdoorsman in hunting situations, camp, things like that. For example, you have two different sizes here. You have the Junior, the Jet Sled Junior, the Jet Sled Original, and then they make a bunch of different sizes. The 54-inch Jet Sled Original, that's the one I actually like the best. Believe it or not, this one pulls across the ground much easier than that one does, probably due to the surface area that's on there. But I can put the same deer, I can put a deer in that one and a deer in this one, and this one drags a lot easier through the woods. So I prefer this one, the bigger one, but the little one does have advantages to it. First off, when it comes to dragging deer out of the woods, which is the #1 reason that I bought it for, but probably one of the reasons I use it the least for, actually, I only drag maybe 1 or 2 deer a year in this jet sled. The rest of them I pack out on my back and things like that. But I use this thing religiously all season long. And we'll explain why here in a minute. But between the two, like I said, I think the 54-inch, the original one here, is going to be your better one. That's the one I like to use the most. But you can use them for dragging deer, and I promise you that if you were to grab a deer and drag it across the ground versus putting it in a jet sled, I would rate this as probably 3 to 4 times easier, maybe even 5 times easier to drag in a jet sled. The first deer I ever killed in one of these things was a 4-point. That I killed, I don't know, I want to say maybe 8-9 years ago. And so at the time, my daughter, who is now 16, should have been 7-8 years old, and she could pull that thing by herself. She could pull that whole entire deer, gutted of course, but she could drag that deer, and her and my son, who was a year younger, so he would have been, 6-7 years old at the time, they could pull a whole, that decent sized 4-point deer in this jet sled by themselves and do it without a problem. So it's amazing what it does. They don't work great on like grass. They don't work great on gravel. They do work, but leaves and in the woods and in debris and over deadfalls, cakewalk, easy. I promise you it will make all your dragging so much better, especially with some of the mods. Now, some of the other things that I found that I use it for all the time. I've taken more showers in this sled than I can imagine, probably close to 100 showers in this. What I do with it is I bring it right inside my wall tent. I set it right next to the wood stove, and I set this there. And then what I do is I climb inside of it. I hang my solar shower there, so right next to that wood stove. It can be 0 degrees outside and 70 degrees in that tent. I can strip down, and then I can step inside of this thing here. I put all my dirty clothes in the bottom of it. I turn on that solar shower, and I take a shower right in my wall tent with no floor. All that water stays in here, and all that soapy water soaks into my clothes. And then I wash my clothes when I'm done taking my shower in there, and then rinse them with the leftover water. I can do laundry and a shower at the same time in this jet sled, right in the warmth of my tent. So that works incredible. A lot of times when we set up the wall tent, I don't want to be right where somebody can see it. So we'll park a truck, and then we'll take, especially like when we're in Ohio, trying to find flat places is pretty hard to do sometimes. We'll throw the wall tent and load this thing up full of gear, and we'll take 2 trips if we need to, but we'll drag it in there 100 or 200 yards in and set up somewhere hidden remotely, tucked away in there, and we'll carry everything in and out on this jet sled. You can load this thing up mounted full of hundreds of pounds of gear and drag it real easy. So it works like a champ for that kind of stuff as well too. If we're on site and we go to we're in camp and I want to go cut firewood there, I can cut it, load it all in this jet sled, drag it down from wherever that down tree was back down to where my truck is, and then 2 of us can grab a side of this thing, lean it up to the out of the tailgate and push it up on there. We might have to throw a couple extra logs on, but we don't have to empty it. So it comes in real handy for a lot of uses. When this one is wet. You see it's soaking wet. It's raining out right now. You might be able to hear it. I just pulled it out of the truck to do this video, but it also comes in incredibly handy if you kill a deer and you're going to bring it home. Not only is it great to drag it out of the woods with, but what else is nice is once you get it back to the truck, you can take this thing, you lean or pull it right up by your tailgate, drop your tailgate, you lift the front end up and rest it against the tailgate, like on that kind of an angle, so it's like that on your tailgate, and it sits there, and then you just grab the bottom of it, lift it up, and slide it right up into the back of your truck. You leave the deer in there. with the deer inside of this, no blood or nothing is getting all over your truck. You don't have to go and wash it. All the blood stays in the actual Jet Sled, so it makes it super nice for that. And then when you get it home, if you're skinning it yourself and you're going to bring it in, what I do is when we drag this into my garage and then we hang the deer up, I leave the sled right under there. It's already got blood in there from dragging a deer out, so I leave the sled under there and all the blood and everything drips right into this. When we're skinning it, I let all the leg pieces and the hide and everything I'm going to get rid of, and I let it all fall right into the sled. So it is a multifunctional, incredible tool that does a lot of things. Again, the mini one is okay, but it's not that good. This one I think is better. I think if I were to only have one, if I had to sell one, I'd sell that one and keep this one. Just more versatile. But there's so many different things you can do with a Jet Sled. It's countless times we use it for. We even use it here, even in the summertime. If we gotta go fill holes, if the dogs are digging holes, I'll go throw. We keep black dirt here. I have them dump a truckload of it every couple of years, so we have it. I'll take that dirt, throw 8, 10, 12 shovelfuls in here, and then I'll drag it around the yard wherever I got to. I'll take a shovelful and fill in a hole there. Just countless uses for it. My kids, they used to use it for picking up sticks in the yard. I'd tell them to go out there in the spring, pick up all the sticks so I don't run them over with the lawnmower. They would then take this, drag it, throw all the sticks in it, drag it out into the woods and dump it. Endless uses for a Jet Sled. Absolutely endless. But for a hunter, super easy to drag your deer, super convenient to get your deer in the back of your truck, super easy to make it where you don't have to clean your truck because all the blood stays in the sled. Once you skin your deer and you're boning it out and doing all the work, really easy because it hangs right underneath your deer and you don't got to put tarps down and worry about blood all over your garage or anything like that. It just stays right there. Sweet, simple setup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in closer so I can show you some of the modifications to them to make them that much better. Okay. As far as modifications to the Jet Sled, there are a few that are important. First off, I don't even have it, but the black rope they come with, not very good. Two reasons with it. One is it's cheap, crap, garbage rope. And two, the knots that it makes don't get very big, and then if you pull hard enough on this, you could probably almost pull that rope through there if you wanted to. Instead, replace the rope. Now what I have here is I have 7mm cord. This is 7mm accessory line for mountain climbers, just so you could actually hang from this. It's mountain climbing grade stuff. Not expensive. I'll put a link down below for it on Amazon for you. It's not expensive to get, but it's worth it. And like I said, it'll come in real handy. But what it does is it gives you really big knots on the end of that too. So when you have that knot coming into this hole, it's not going to pull. You couldn't. I don't think you could pull that through there. I don't think you'd ever have a problem with it. So there's no reason to reinforce that or have to put wood like some people do or any of that kind of stuff. Bigger rope with a bigger knot right here. The 7mm rope fits that hole perfect, and it locks that in there real good and makes it nice. Now, not only that, it also makes it easier on your hand because this stuff doesn't have any stretch to it like that, so you're not fighting with that. Now, holding onto a rope like this to drag it is really hard on your hand. Some people put a stick in there and twist it around. Instead, what I did is I bought rubber wash machine hose tube here, is I think what this is. Whatever it is, it's just a rubber tube. Basically, pick your poison, whichever one you want from Home Depot or anything like that, or maybe I'll even throw something down there if I can find this on Amazon. I'll throw a link down there below for it too, so you can get a few feet of that. But whatever this is, I mean, there's no science to this. Just make it big enough to get two hands on. I made it so it looks like we're about 11.5 inches. So I probably cut it at a foot at 12 inches. And put a handle on there. Now what's nice about that is now when I'm pulling on that, I don't feel that rope. That rope doesn't cut into my hand. And this just slides anywhere it needs to be on there. And when you grab it, it'll automatically center itself out. But you have that rope, that nice, good, comfortable handle to hang on to so that you can drag that without it having to give you any hard times. Yeah, it's going to flex a little bit, but this is pretty stiff stuff. It's not going to flex too bad. It doesn't pinch your hand like if you were trying to pull with that, where that's going to cut into your hand and bite on the side. So putting the tubing on there definitely makes a huge difference. Having a 7mm accessory line on there makes a huge difference. Very durable stuff. I got both of them set up exactly the same way. Handle on this one too. Same exact setup, both these. Now, Another thing, not so, for dragging deer, not quite so important on this one, but definitely important on this one for deer, and then also important on this one if you're moving camp for, if you've got a wall tent, all your gear, and you're going to try and drag it in and go set up somewhere. In each of the corners, I drilled holes, just a 1/4 inch hole or whatever that is. I'm guessing that's probably a little less than 1/4 inch hole, just a little bigger than paracord. But I drilled a hole in the corners, and then I have on this one, basically I got 6 total. I got 3 on each side, 2 in each corner, or 1 in each of these, all 4 corners, and then 1 right here in the middle. I'll show you on this one here, because it's easier to pick up. But right here I have 1 as well too. These are just a hole that I drilled in there that you can see. Just drilled a little hole, I'm hoping that focuses, and put a piece of paracord through there. Now what that is that creates a tie down on there. So in this little one, when you put deer in this, which I've actually had 2 deer in this sled, 2 does in this jet sled together at the same time, and I drug them for 800 yards that way. I'll actually put a picture of them. I had them sitting there in a river, cooling down about 1/3 of the way into that, knowing that I had to pull them for a long way through open country with the sun beating down on an 85-degree day to get to where I where all my stuff was, so I was shaded and I could bone them out before I brought them home. And so I drug them out of there in this. This was back before I was doing my backpacks and hiking or boning meat out. I had 2 does inside of this and drug them for all that distance without a problem. But I had to use these tie downs that I have on here to be able to tie all the heads and the legs and the feet and everything into this thing so that they weren't all over the place. So putting tie downs in the corners and then 1 in the middle on this, on each side, makes it really nice so that you can, if you got tie down straps, you can hook them on there and hook the other one, and you can actually cinch stuff into this and keep it from coming out on you, because there's really nowhere to put anything. You got a lip on here, but you hook it on there and your tie down will slide. If you're trying to use rope, there's nowhere to tie a rope to. Next thing I did was, you'll see that they have paracord here that is weaved through the holes that I put on there. On this one here, you can see I got paracord here on the top, goes here, it actually runs through the back, right underneath here. You can see it down in here. I can get my fingers on it right here. There's paracord in there, right like that. Goes all the way around the whole entire sled and comes together down there where I can untie it. This one has the same thing. There's actually, the tie part for this is down on the bottom too, but what's nice about having that paracord ran through that whole thing on the seams is if I'm out in the woods and I need rope to tie something in there, I have this paracord that goes around the whole thing. I can untie it, pull it off of there, and then weave it through my my loops that I put in here and use it to tie down anything that I have in there. So I have it with it. I don't have to carry extra rope to be able to tie anything in a jet sled. Like I said, not super important on a big one, but on a little one it's definitely important. And it's worth it because it takes about 5 seconds to basically drill a hole, put a piece of paracord in there, and just put a loop in the end. Really sweet, really simple, really easy. But now you gain a lot of functionality out of that jet sled to be able to tie things down in there. And having the rope right there with it makes it really simple. I've only had to use that rope 3 times because usually I use my bow haul-up line. Just because it's quick and convenient and easy rather than untying this. So I would throw those deer inside of that, I would put those legs in there, put everything in there, and then just take my haul line for my bow pull-up rope, feed it through there, lace it over, lace it over, lace it over, lock it down, and it basically keeps everything inside of there. So as you're dragging through, you don't have legs and hoofs and heads hooking on trees and things like that. So really makes it sweet and simple. These things hold up incredibly well. Like I said, I'll have a link down there below for both of the sleds. I'll put a link for the rope, and I'll see what I can find on there rubber hosing wise. If I can't find a rubber hose, like I said, just go to Walmart, just get your Walmart or Home Depot or Ace Hardware, get whatever kind you want. I don't see anything left on this that tells me what it is that I have on here. But it's just a thick rubber tubing is what it is. Just something to use as a handle. You can use PEX, PVC pipe that's got a little bit of flex to it. I wouldn't use PVC because it'll break. But that PEX stuff has some flex to it. Doesn't matter what you use, just a thicker rope and some kind of handle on there. But this rubber tubing works fantastic on there. I'll have to look and see what it is for you and get you something on there. But you can't beat a jet sled for deer hunting, period. Like I said, this one spends the whole entire season in the back of my truck. Another nice feature to it too is when it does rain, I actually get this thing gets water in it in the back of my truck. As I drive, like at least more than half of that water splashes out as I'm driving and I turn corners and things like that. But that other water that sits in there, it becomes a very valuable tool to me. So when I do get deer out there, or I do clean deer and things like that, or I'm coming in from boning deer out and I'm carrying them in, it's nice to have actually a lot of water that I can wash my hands in, clean things up in. Just makes it really nice. If I walk through a lot of mud and stuff like that, when I get back, I'll jump in the back of the truck, I'll put my boots in there and slosh them around and wash all that stuff and all that mud off my shoes before I come home and put them on a boot dryer. So it's just, like I said, it's the value of it is huge, but it's even those little things. Another thing that I think is really cool with it too, that I've done now twice, it's been pretty awesome, is when it's raining out and I'm driving out there and I'm in regular clothes, you know, my regular whatever hunt clothes, if I want to actually put on my rain gear when I'm at the spot, you don't want to be outside in the middle of pouring rain in the woods putting on your rain gear, getting soaked as you're doing it. I take this Jet Sled, I open my truck door, and then I got 4 doors, so I open both of the truck doors, and I take that Jet Sled and I put it upside down above me just like that, across the 2 doors, and it gives me, it's like an umbrella. It gives me a place to stand under where I'm not getting rained on, where I can actually get my rain gear on, put my pants on. I take my car mat out of the car, set it on the ground so my feet are dry, and I can take my boots off, put all my stuff on, get dressed underneath this, keeping me completely dry. Endless possibilities and things that you can do with it. I highly recommend it. The benefits for it are huge. Get one, throw it in the back of your truck. So far to date, I've probably drove, I don't know, thousands and thousands of miles. Especially because a lot of my spots are over an hour away and I'm on the expressway doing 80 miles an hour, and they don't blow out of the back of your truck. I've never had one blow out of there. So just take it, throw it in the back of your truck. If you want to lock it down, lock it down. I don't see any reason to have to, but it's just a super valuable tool. I cannot rave enough about it and the things you can do with it. So this is a Jet Sled, like I said, the original 54-inch. I'll put a link for both of these down below, along with the accessory line and anything else that you need for it. But that's basically it. In a couple, few minutes with a drill bit and some paracord, make yourself some tie downs on the corners of it. Very, very valuable piece of equipment to have. So thanks for watching. Be back with more stuff soon. We'll talk to you later. Bye.